Hey folks, welcome back, and today we're looking at big terrain parts. And yeah, we're gonna hollow them for sure. I mean, look at the size of that thing. That is the Corrupted Thorns. Looks like a giant bramble of thorns. This is another cool piece from the new The Rotting One campaign from the Crippled God Foundry. We love those guys, by the way. Their stuff is amazing. So there we go, hollowed. Big holes in the bottom for the drain. Definitely want that. That's important. Especially a big piece like this. It's going to make a lot of suction. Regardless of how hollow you do this and how good you tilt it. Highly recommend a shape raft, by the way. Something a little bit more solid than just a grid or the line support triangle that I usually use. The shape raft is a bit stronger. So I prefer that. We're going to need some heavy anchors as well, because this is a big piece. So again, regardless of hollowing, you definitely want to make sure you have enough support. As always, first things first, detecting islands, and this is going to have a decent amount, I would say, probably just because of the thorns and some of the high points on the texture. Probably going to have some internal islands as well, which is always fun. Always fun supporting those. Now this is a pretty long support, and so I've sped this up just a bit, but you can still see most of the work here. The first thing I'm doing is adding key points at the bottom where all the islands are going to be. Now obviously there's going to be a ton of islands at the bottom of the print because it's not supported by anything yet. So, you know, the islands at the bottom are going to be a combination of both textures that are kind of peeking over the edge and just the edge points of the model as well. And this is important to do this properly because these are going to be some of your initial points of contact off the build plate. And so it's extremely important to make sure that these are anchored well enough that they're going to survive. Because if this fails, most of your print is probably going to fail. And I say probably because, yeah, pretty big probably. Again, I stressed about contact points and initial contact, but obviously super important as always on a big piece. Always make sure to check the initial point of contact. Now again, if you did your islands well enough, your point of contact at the bottom should be pretty solid. But always make sure you check, go layer by layer if you have to, and just make sure that you have good supporting at each layer where each part of the print is going to be forming itself. Because one of the worst things is just getting everything ready and you do the whole print and then essentially the whole thing either pancakes or half of it does. And you wind up with a print that was a lot of a waste of time. And then you go back and you go, oh look, an island is right here in the beginning and the software didn't catch it. And yeah, I mean, that's a stinky way to fail a print right there, because it's an easy thing to fix, and a lot of folks don't go layer by layer like that. They just kind of, they trust in the software. I don't trust in the software, just like I don't trust my car to drive me anywhere. We're not there yet, folks. As we round up the rest of the supporting on this particular piece, we just want to keep in mind there are a lot of edges and parts of it that are going to be parallel to the plate. So just be mindful and always look for those yellow marked zones. The slicer's pretty good about letting us know where those zones are, and that's why they're indicated in that bright yellow color. Some slicers, I believe, use red. This one uses yellow. Personally, I like the yellow. It makes it really obvious and it sticks out really well. Now once the supporting is adequately done, and this piece looks like it's definitely going to print well, I think will be good enough and get this thing on the printer. Now, this looks a little heavy, to be honest, looking at it from this perspective, and it's not. We've already done this print. The print was successful. The supports popped right off. It's anchored well enough in zones, but the rest of it is quite light. So the supporting itself on the outer edges is between medium and hard or heavy, and the inner supporting is all light or medium. And for the most part, the way I set those types of supports up, it's usually just pinch, squeeze, and rip off. And since this is all on the bottom of the actual print, it doesn't really matter if there's too many scrapes or scratches or dimples, because you're just going to sand all that stuff smooth. And that's pretty much it for this. And once you get that export done there, pop it on the printer and should be good to go. Now, of course, these particular parts are pre-supported by Crippled God Foundry, but they're not hollow. Now, I prefer to hollow big parts like this, which is why I went ahead and did the supporting work myself. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, drop us a like, comment, sub, and don't forget to ring that bell if you want notifications on all the videos that we do post. Thanks again for watching, and hope to see you soon.